Hi there, I'm Sara. I'm the lead physio at the Samson Centre for MS based in Guildford. I'm just going to go through another short 10-minute video on sitting posture just to discuss some of the finer points. So this is more a sort of discussion on posture rather than an exercise video today. So I'm going to show you a few things, and I'm going to use this this type of chair here, because then you'll be able to have a good look at what my back's doing. But really, these principles about keeping a good upright posture are applicable to any chair that you might sit in. So whether it's a dining chair, armchair, sofa, wheelchair. So let's just start sort of with the principles. So why is sitting in a good posture important? Well, whether you've got MS or not, trying to maintain a reasonable posture when you're sitting is a really good idea. It stops you from running into problems in the future with issues such as bad backs, painful necks, sore shoulders, and obviously if you have MS, you might be sitting for longer periods of time during the day. So those problems that I've just mentioned can be exacerbated. There are also some additional problems, and I'm going to go through these one at a time. So here we are. This would be a reasonable, upright, relaxed sitting position. However, if I was sort of slumped a little bit more like this for longer periods of time, maybe I've been positioned like this in my wheelchair, or I'm just really struggling to get into a good position, you can see automatically that a lot of my pressure is now coming through my left hip and my left pelvis. So I can already feel a build-up of pressure on my left bottom. So one of the key important things about maintaining a good posture is prevention of pressure sores. So what we're aiming for is this nice sort of symmetrical and aligned position, so that the weight is equally going through our left and right sides of our bottoms. Okay, so I'm going to come back into this position here now, so you can see I'm quite slumped and quite flexed, and you can see what it's doing here to my rib cage. And I'm going to show you what it's like to try and take a deep breath here. So it feels really quite restricted. I really don't feel I can take a very full deep breath, because I'm sort of falling down on this left side of my rib cage. So if I bring myself back to the centre and I'm a bit more evenly balanced, and then try and take the same deep breath. I can feel I can actually keep going for another, couple of seconds of inhalation. So I'm able to take a deeper breath, which again is really important to help prevent problems such as sort of respiratory tract infections and chest infections. Okay, so I'm going to come back into my slump position. Maybe my head's here. So again, if you can just picture me now, maybe reaching forwards and just taking a gulp of tea, swallowing it, being in an awkward, aligned, awkward position such as this. It actually makes it very difficult for those the muscles in your face and your mouth to move easily, and therefore sort of ideally when you're eating and drinking, being in this nice more upright position is going to help your fluid go down into your stomach rather than trickling down and causing a problem with your chest. Okay, so what else do we need to talk about? So soft tissue adaptations. Obviously, if you're able to move around and get in and out of your chair and you're moving during the day, then that's great. If you're not able to do that and you're sitting in these sustained postures for long periods of time, over the days and the weeks and the months, what tends to happen is that our soft tissues, so the tissues like our muscles and the capsules surrounding the joints and the ligaments, all become quite tight, And eventually, over months and years, that tightness can become sort of shortened. So we end up with shortened, tight muscles, which are then very difficult to open up. So what we tend to see is people getting tightness here in their hip flexors. So actually then being able to stand up straight becomes really very difficult. And we also often see sort of tightness in these muscles here, our pectoral muscles, where people are sitting very sort of round shouldered. I'm going to show you that position side on actually, because then you'll see what's happening at my neck. So round shouldered, and then my neck here is poking forwards, and putting a lot of strain here on the back of my neck. I can instantly feel that. Okay, so come back. So no doubt, if you've ever seen a physio, either at home or at the Samson Centre or at your local NHS hospital, they will have spoken to you, no doubt, about the importance of posture. So hopefully I've outlined some of those key reasons why physios are all about getting this good posture. So a few little tips and tricks to try and help you achieve a better posture at home. So whatever type of chair you're sitting in, it's almost always better to get your bottom as far back as you can. Okay, this chair actually gives me some nice support in my lower back. So you can see that that's actually not a reason, it's comfortable, and I feel I could stay like this for a little while. My weight is evenly distributed, and you can see there that my thighs are running straight. If you're someone who has tightness in one leg, you might find that one knee likes to roll in. So actually looking down these thighs with them running nice and straight is a really important, a very helpful indicator really of what's going on. So nice straight thighs. Then if you take a peek forwards over your knees, your lower legs should be running nice and straight as well, with your toes pointing towards the front of the room, or the wall in front of you. Just a few pointers about your toes. Foot posture is important as well. I'm going to just bring you down here. So, you can see my slippers here. We often have people turning up at the centre with all sorts of weird and wonderful sort of foot positions like this. Okay, so whenever possible, when you're in your chair and you're there for some reason, length of time, just check that your toes are coming to the wall in front of you, and that your feet are either flat down on the floor or flat on your foot plates of your wheelchair, and then we're trying to avoid this sort of rolling over. Okay, so just a little bit there about foot posture. Okay, the other thing really is to consider is about sort of positioning of your arms. So I've got a pillow here that we could use. So if you could picture me in an armchair, sometimes actually having a pillow to one side might take the weight of an arm, have it over your lap and have both arms resting there. It feels really nice and comfortable, and it's allowing me here just to relax and open up through my collarbones. Arms are nice and heavy. What we don't expect as physios is that you sit bolt upright hour in, hour, night after night. It's just not comfortable. It's not realistic either. So, what we encourage you is when you're, busy during the day, that you try and pay, attention to your posture. But when you're relaxing, maybe watching a film or something in the evening, that you're using these principles of good alignment and symmetry, then sitting in a nice sort of relaxed, comfortable position in an armchair. I certainly wouldn't be sitting on a chair like this to watch a film. It's not comfortable for any length of time. But I've just used this today to hopefully demonstrate some of the key principles. So just to finish off then, just to review a couple of tips and pointers that you can check in on yourself. So you want your hips, knees and your ankles at about 90 degrees. As you look down your legs, you want these thighs to be running nice and straight. You want your toes, if possible, pointing to the wall in front and not twisted in or out. And you want to give your arms some support, so maybe on a pillow. And finally, checking in with your pelvis. So if you dig in here, you'll find that there's two bones, quite prominent bones. That's the front of your pelvis. And if you picture that you have two headlights, one on each side of your pelvis, you want those to be beaming forwards. Okay, so that's just a little way that you can assess your own posture. The MS Trust has got some excellent resources on assessing your own posture and some tips and tricks of improving your posture in various different positions. Really recommend that you have a little look at those. And obviously, if you've got any queries or any questions, do get in touch. Okay, bye-bye.